If you joined it for the first time, welcome, and I do appreciate you. Thanks for watching. So today I want to show you how to get those little 9 projects out of your KO2 into your DAW, onto your external drive, onto your computer, somewhere off of the KO2, so that way we can free up some of this valuable space. We're going to be using Midi sync. We're also going to be using the Volt 1 as our interface, and the DAW that I'm going to be using is the Ableton digital audio workstation. First, let's look at the KO2 and look at the connections here. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your USB is plugged into your computer. The beautiful thing about this is that Ableton recognizes the KO2. As soon as you plug it in, it recognizes it. Go to preferences. You can see here in the Midi ports, EP-133 in and EP-133 out. So that's a beautiful thing. Next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your Midi out is connected using the TRS connection to a 5-pin Midi cable in the back of your interface. As I said already, I'm using the Volt 1. I wanted to use something super simple, super user-friendly. It's not a lot of settings or buttons we got to push, so you can't get lost. You just plug in and you play. Next thing, you want to make sure your output is plugged into the combo jack on the front of your interface or on the back of your interface, whatever interface you're using, so you can get audio. Next thing we want to do, we want to come over to Ableton. You want to hit Command, comma. That's the quick key for opening up preferences. If you don't use quick keys, you can go to the menu, hit live, hit preferences. You scroll down to link tempo MIDI. And as you can see here, in is already selected. So you select track, you select sync so that it syncs up. There's a drop down menu here. You don't have to mess with any of those settings there. You don't have to mess with the frame rate, the sync type. Just select track, select sync. Just make sure that your in is selected. Then you come up here to the EXT box here. You select external. You'll see the yellow light blinking. I already have 8 tracks here that I set up. However many tracks you have, you set up your tracks and then you start to track it out. We're going to be tracking this beat here. Make sure that your track is selected here. By the way, it's going to start. You'll see here, anytime you press play on the KO2, it starts on Ableton. So you know that the 2 devices are talking to each other. You'll also notice here at the top where the BPM is, that it's the same BPM as the KO2. So you know that they're talking to each other. Once you know that they're talking to each other, then we can start tracking out our beat. We're going to start with the kick. We have the groups here. Group A has the drums on it. Group B has your basses. C has your melodies, all that good stuff. All right. When we press play, we can see the levels in Ableton. So you know your levels are good. You check, you make sure your levels are good. All right, so now you're ready to go. You got your track in your KO2 that you want to dump, and you're ready to get that into your DAW. You want to make sure that your metronome is on in the KO2. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit Shift System, and you're going to scroll over to Sequence. You're going to hit Enter. First thing that's going to come up is MET for metronome. You hit Enter. You want to make sure that's on. If it's not on, you're going to hear your metronome in the recording, and that's not what we want. So now we're back to the main and we're ready to go. Also make sure that your external is selected, and always make sure that you arm your track. So let's arm track 1. I'm not even going to name these tracks, but if you want to be super organized, name your tracks: kick, snare, hi-hat, bass, drum, sample, whatever it is. If you want to be super organized, we're going to do our drums first. We're going to start with the drums first. So we're going to start with the kick. Let's go back to the beginning. We're going to hit record, play, and we're going to solo the kick. We're going to mute that. Let's go to the next track. Track number 2. We're going to arm Ableton, go to the beginning, and now we're going to do the snare. Hit record, solo the snare. Perfect. Press record. I think we got enough. Let's just check to make sure that everything is coming out. Okay, let's turn off external and let's go back to the beginning. Let's turn on these tracks here that we just did. Everything is sounding good. Let's get the bass line now. melody now, that organ sound. Back to the beginning, hit record. That's good enough. I'll sample my voice in this track, so we're gonna get that now. We're almost done. This is how quick this workflow is. Let's go to group D where my voice is. Woo! That's it for that track. Done. Let's work. Now we go to track 8. Let's arm it. Ableton is armed. Record. Work. Good enough. But there was a variation in the snare on group 3. So let's get this snare variation just in case. Just in case I want that later, all right? Go back to the beginning. Just in case I want to use that snare variation later, I wanted to just track it down because I don't want to forget the idea. Since we have everything, let's mute this snare variation. We can go back and listen to what we did. We're going to turn off external. So now Ableton is going to run itself. And let's bring everything in. Let's work. But the basic idea is there, right? That's a quick way to get your projects from your KO2 into Ableton using Midi sync. As I said, it's not perfect, but it is quick. You just want to get your projects out of the KO2 into your Ableton so that way you can wipe it, start from scratch, and start making more projects. So I hope that helped, guys. As usual, keep on banging out, keep on doing your thing, all right?